Alright, we're ready to play this game again. Our Life. Super cute. What should we do? I don't really like that one. I don't want to do that. Okay, okay, we'll do wave. We'll just go in order. Okay. The family shopping trip. The family shopping trip. Had lasted most of the morning, and you still had to unload everything from the trunk, before you can go enjoy the afternoon. So I should do this one and then dinner. You cradled another bag in your arms as you headed towards your house. It was one of the heavier bags from the grocery store, loaded with fresh apples, ripe tomatoes, a bunch of carrots, and even half of a watermelon. I have never in my life bought just half of a watermelon. I've always bought like the whole fucking thing, right? Do they sell half of a watermelon? I know like they do like the chunks at Publix and stuff. In a Walmart, they do like little square watermelons. Or the big ones. But I've never seen somebody sell half of a watermelon. This is... I don't know why I'm so, like, annoyed by that. I don't know. Okay. Ma came at the front door and paused just ahead of you.
It's no trouble.
What? Do you need any help with that? I can bring in the rest, if you want me to. No, I got it. I was doing fine. Even though it was large, it wasn't really a problem for you. Ma gave you an encouraging grin and rustled her fingers through your pink hair. I have pink hair. I do have pink hair. I forgot. Okay. You set the next bag on the counter. Your older sister began to root around for the contents with a sigh. How much is left? Still a few more bags. With a huff and a puff, Elizabeth continued putting away the groceries, and you retreated out of the kitchen before you could become the target of her bad mood.
Be careful.
Oh, careful, Evie. You hadn't been looking where you were going and bumped right into Mom, almost stepping on her toes to boot. Sorry. I can give you a pass this time, but be sure to watch where you're going. If you run into the wrong person, you might get your license revoked. She grinned at the bad joke as you continued through the door. That was a bad joke. Ma had started organizing what remained and putting back any loose objects that had fallen out during the trip. When you stepped up to the trunk beside her, she took a deep breath of air, her dress, did I say Jess? Gently swaying around in the breeze.
That's a shame.
It's a shame we had to spend the morning cooped up in that shopping center. It's a beautiful day, don't you think? You tilted your head to the sky, gazing at the clear blue expanse. Yeah, it is. You closed your eyes for a few moments and enjoyed the way that the sun warmed your face for a few moments before turning back to help Ma with the groceries. Oh, hi, Cove. You noticed Mom wave over at Cove, who had just exited his front door, his surfboard propped up under one arm. Let me see. Surfboard and wetsuit. Where might you be off to on this beautiful day? Cove flinched at being called so suddenly. He hadn't realized there were people out here already, but he quickly recovered. Good one, Mrs. Peasy. He crossed the pavement to properly say hello to you and your moms. Hello, honey. It's a beautiful day for surfing. I haven't been out on the waves in a long time. I'm jealous. Cove smiled, pleased to have people around who shared his hobby.
Yeah.
His mom and dad don't? Yeah, I'm hoping to get a good few waves before it gets dark. Do you want to come hang out there later, Evie? Yeah, sure, I'll meet you when we're done.
Cool.
Can I help out with anything?
No.
No. This is our job. You go enjoy the beach. Evie can catch up as soon as she's finished here. Alright, I'll see ya. Yeah. You watched as Cove headed towards the beach, unable to hide your grin, knowing that you'd be joining him soon. Once everything had been taken in and put away, you got yourself ready to meet Cove at the beach. Oh, God. You had a surfboard in your room? No. Your family had a surfboard around you somewhere. Oh, yeah. Last option. You weren't sure what you were going to do. He was surfing and you didn't know how. You said the same thing to your parents, and while Ma laughed a little, Mom gave you a smile.
Well...
You'll just have to go there and see what happens. Cove must have been so excited to invite you there that he nearly forgot you don't surf. Or he's hoping you'll go watch him so he could show off. Oh yes, I used to do that. Is that how they got together? I know, hon. I experienced Evie's situation firsthand. I was stuck on the shore too.
Oh.
You noticed what I was doing. Yes, after the very first time. It's not a subtle move. How embarrassing. Oh, they're so cute. I was still impressed.
Aww.
How adorable are they?
Hey.
I'm just clicking the button. I'm not even reading. Alright, so I was just so enamored. Okay. Hey, what are you still doing here? Go on, have your fun. You're only young once, but don't do anything I wouldn't have. Oh, she looks very devious, huh? Those eyebrows. Okay, Ma. Which one's Ma? Is the one on the left Ma? Or is the one on the right Ma? I don't know. I'm so confused. Alright, at your parents' prodding, you hurried to leave the house and head down to the beach. When you arrived at the shore, you were greeted by the crash of waves and the soft calls of seagulls. You took in a lungful of the ocean air and felt your olive skin warm in the sun. You noticed a small setup nearby with a towel, some sunscreen, and a bottle of water. It must be Cove's. You spotted Cove himself nearby. He hadn't gone out to the sea yet, but he was just sitting in the sand at the water's edge, his board propped up beside him. You strolled up. Hey, I'm here. Evie. He looked at you with a smile and quickly hopped to his feet. I was wondering if you were still coming. Yeah, sorry you had to wait. You don't have to say that, it's okay. Then he cast his eyes outward towards the waves. I'll sit here and watch you surf.
Oh.
You were ready to spread out your towel and take it easy.
Don't worry about it.
Oh. I don't have to go out. I'll stay with you on the shore. Or if you want, we could use some of my other boards. I could teach you. Okay. Yeah, I'll try. I'll do it. Yeah, why not? Let's surf. Cool. It was settled. Cove left the shore, then returned with an extra board under his arm in no time at all. You paddled out into the sea where the good waves were. The water was cool against your skin.
It's nice.
Not too calm, but nothing crazy. Looks perfect today. He smiled at you and you couldn't help but smile back. You felt totally content. Until Cove kicked the water a little too hard and it advertently splashed you. Hey! Sorry. The apology did not come across as especially repentant, as he was practically laughing when he said it. Yeah, I'm gonna smash you back, motherfucker. Get it, you little shit. Alright. Yeah. You laughed, but you waited for an opening for revenge. The second he looked away, you kicked him, spraying him.
Seriously?
Is that any way you treat somebody you try and help? I came out here to teach you. I was just following your example, man. He tried to keep a straight face, but ended up looking away. The water you flicked at him landed in the shiny droplets in his hair. And then here's another lesson. He soaked you deliberately this time. He used his full leg and an impressive current of water hit you in the face. You lost your balance and scrambled to keep hold of the board. You just managed to save on, but it was close. Cove winced. Are you okay? That wasn't what I was trying to do. I'm fine, but we should do the real teaching. Yeah. He chuckled awkwardly and shook some water out of his ear. With that, Cove started telling you all the tips and tricks of how to stay on the surfboard. He demonstrated both good and bad posture and explained where you needed to put your weight. Like this? You wiggled your body so that you were more in the center of your board? Cove nodded. Yep, just like that. A little lesson continued and... you kind of struggled. 100%. Cove tried as best as he could to help you improve. It was difficult for the both of you to work it out, though the process was made. Since you weren't truly ready for it, Cove never pushed you to start taking on full waves, which means he didn't either. Instead, he was stuck by your side in calmer seas to assist you practice. There was no disappointment on his face over how things played out. Even if you had reached the point of doing any real serious surfing yet, it was still a lot of fun. Many laughs were shared between the two of you. What an afternoon. The setting sun was visible on the horizon. Every time you look away, it had sunk a little lower. The beach was darkening, but still pleasantly warm. You knew you should get out of the water before it was complete dark in the sea. You rode one last wave to get back to the beach. There you picked up your surfboard and gave it a quick once-over. Cove followed behind you to the shore. He put his board with his other things and grabbed his towel to start drying off. As he ruffled his hair with the towel, you watched the sunset together. The colors were beautiful in the distance, and the shadows around you deepened. There was no need for words between you two as you both enjoyed the sight for a moment. He broke the silence. The waves were good today, I think. Do you really think so? He nodded mildly. You chatted a little more until the conversation surely died out, and all you heard was the rhythmic sound of waves. Then Cove sighed. The day can't be over, not yet. He scowled into the distance as the sun exiting the sky was a personal offense. Don't you think it should be longer? I don't know. I guess so. He stood up in straight defiance of the approaching darkness. I'm not going to go home yet. I want to go somewhere, I don't know. Cove was still dripping in salt water, so you weren't sure what the alternative was. Wetsuits were fine for the beach, and not much else. It wasn't a good idea for him to lug a surfboard around town either. You'll be real cute in that sweatsuit wherever you go. Oh god. His face and his ears flushed red as he looked down and inspected himself. He crossed his hands over his chest self-consciously. He'd been so used to wearing it that he hadn't given his current choice of dress any thought. At least that was before you pointed it out to him. Stop it. He then looked down the shore with wide, shining eyes. There's at least one place that's okay to hang out, no matter what time it is, the park. You nodded. The park was virtually always empty. Even Elizabeth only went there nowadays if she was looking for you. How times have changed. She used to be so protective of the place. In fact, the only person there was a chance of running into might be that Jeremy kid again. You brought the idea up to Cove and he cringed. But I'm still going. The sun is still there a little. I'm staying out as long as it is. Yeah, you tagged along. Fuck yeah, I did. Alright, let's go. Cove took a minute to put his stuff in order. He made sure to get it all, though it didn't take much care to shake off the sand. You dealt with your own things. You stuffed everything together quickly. I'm done, Cove. He rolled his eyes with a bent smile at the announcement. As a final touch, he plucked his glasses off the beach and put them back on his face. He looked more like himself now. I knew he was forgetting something. He wasn't wearing his glasses. He led the way down the beach to the park. It wasn't far, so it didn't take you long at all. The sun still hadn't completely disappeared just yet when you made your arrival. He stuck his surfboard upright in the sand and tossed his towel over top. By now, the two of you were mostly dry. The summer breeze on your skin kept you pleasantly warm. Cove idly went over to the monkey bars. He grabbed them, feet flat on the ground, and pretended to go across. He definitely had grown in the past few years. You could barely use the monkey bars yourself. There wasn't much space at all between you and the ground. When he got up to the bar in the middle, he pulled himself up and through, then sat on the top of the bars. His legs dangled off the side of the bar he perched on. I don't think that I would have the upper body strength. To be completely fair, I took a seat on the swing. You sat down on a free seat and started swinging your legs. First slowly, but then you added more power to your kicks. Air rushed past your face and ruffled your hair. You built up enough momentum to let it carry you. It was a lazy arc, not high or fast. Perfect for having a conversation. Guess what? He smiled broadly and raised an eyebrow. He's not here. Right. It was true. There wasn't a single sign of Jeremy. Looks like it was just going to be the two of you tonight. Cove hung his head and groaned dramatically. Your eyes widened when he whipped his head back up.
No way.
I can't believe how dumb my parents are for forcing me to come to this stupid place. You were taken aback and blinked for a second before you realized he was quoting Jeremy. Oh my god. Don't scare me like that. Cove chuckled back at you, a mischievous glint in his eye. He looked around, the old park, the streets you knew like the back of your hand, and the beach. These were your stomping grounds. You wondered how Cove actually felt. How much of his joke was just a joke, and how much was sincere dislike of this place. Moving had never been his choice. Do you actually like this neighborhood? Do you really have to ask that, Evie? Cove kicked his lids carelessly as they dingled. He smiled softly. I like it here. I really do. It's a nice place. He didn't hesitate. There was no uncertainty. That was a genuine opinion. Yeah, I like it too. I don't want to get too confident. The content feeling fell between the two of you. It didn't take long for the day to finally draw to a close. The sun was gone and it was dark. You chatted a while longer, but it was definitely winding down. I chose not to say anything, I don't think. You sat in the dark in silence. He shifted positions so that his back was on the monkey bars and he could look up at the stars. You wondered how comfortable that could be. Probably not at all. Look at the moon. It's so clear tonight. You glanced up and saw a great gibbous moon swelling over the sky. Few clouds covered the sparkling stars above. Too bad we can't stay forever. Cove sighed, and it was time to go home. He hopped down from the monkey bars with a thump when his feet hit the ground. You stopped moving your legs and stood when the swing slowed down. The chains rattled and the swing smacked into you a bit, its energy not entirely spent. He grabbed a surfboard, threw his towel around his neck. With his water bottle in hand, he was ready. You both began your trek up the road. It was a quiet night, and you didn't run into anyone else. In what felt like no time at all, you had reached your street. As you walked, Cove smiled to himself. It was a soft expression, and you couldn't help but wonder what put it there. Everything okay? I just remember when we were younger. It used to be such a big deal to come home after dark. You indeed recall. You got sandy, your parents would have something to say. If you got wet, your parents would have more to say. And if you came home after dark, well, your mom's dead, and his dad better have said it was okay beforehand. You used to need permission for everything. That small comment he exposed just how much freedom you really had this summer. Cove looked up into the sky, a smile still on his face as the two of you walked side by side, reminiscing. Reminiscing. Do you know that song? Reminiscing? When you came to your houses, you turned to each other. Thanks for today, Evie. Yeah, thanks for an awesome day. He waved and both of you turned around to your respective houses. This was a pleasant end to the outing, you thought. Okay. Okay, we'll do dinner. Fine. Okay. So. I really don't love that living room. It looks like kind of like a hotel. Not very homey. Okay, sunlight shone through the windows as you sat in your living room. Your home phone pressed to your ear. Cove was on the other end. It had been shaping up to be an ordinary day, like any other, until Cove had called unexpectedly. He sounded unusually nervous greeting you. You listened silently as he kept talking, his words stilted. So, I was just wondering, do you want to come over to my house for dinner tonight? Oh, dope! I thought it was dinner at my house. Okay, yeah, the question came out strangely, almost like he'd rehearsed it a few times before. Your eyes widened a little. You hadn't expected this to be the reason behind the call. Yeah, I'll go.
That's,
Oh. It seemed like Cove still had more to say, and you just interrupted him. Oops. Cool. Well, he stumbled for a bit, trying to gather his thoughts again. My mom and dad. They really want you to be there if your parents don't have a problem with it. They asked me to ask you. You took a moment to think. Dinner at home would be quiet and uneventful today. If you really wanted to, you can go to Cove's instead. He spoke up again, breaking your thought train. His voice was softer than before. Also, I want you to be there too. Can you? Come over, I mean? Yeah, I can come. Thanks, Evie. I'll let them know when I can. He sounded noticeably relieved by your response. Was you coming over for dinner today that serious? He spoke to you for a little while longer to explain what time would come over and other details and hung up. And that was that for now, anyway. Soon enough, the sun dipped out of the sky and the evening came. It was time for you to head to Cope's house. After letting Elizabeth know you were leaving, she didn't look away from the TV, just grunted. You made the small journey across the street. You knocked it a couple times on the heavy door to the condo. As you waited for an answer, you found yourself contemplating being a guest while both of Cove's parents were there. Oh, yeah, the idea made me curious. You wondered why they decided to invite you out of the blue. Maybe you'd find out later tonight. That's a good point. Why did I get invited to dinner? I would think it's just like to spend time, right? You didn't get too much time with your thoughts, though. The door opened soon enough. Cove's mom, Kyra, stood in the frame, smiling warmly at you.
Come on.
Hi, Evie. Welcome. Please, come on in. She allowed the door wider. Oh, she opened the door wider and moved to make room. You stepped inside, allowing her to shut it behind you. Thanks so much for coming over. I know it was kind of black stuff. Thank you for having me. Yeah, their house looks so much more cozy. I've never been in his house. I'm just looking around, taking in the pillows. They match her little shawl thing. Very orange, right?
Of course.
Just make yourself at home. It's not my home, but I've been given permission to say that. Hey, Evie. Welcome to our humble abode. You jerked your head towards the sound of Mr. Holden's voice. He waved at you briefly from the kitchen with his back turned and a large spoon in hand. Hope you're hungry, because I'm whipping up a lot of tasty stuff. True to his word, you heard something sizzling on the stove. You closed your eyes and inhaled. It smelled spicy and savory. With Mr. Holden busy and Cove nowhere to be seen, it was just you and Kyra. She gave you a wry smile. He sure is. While I've been barred from cooking the entire time I'm staying here. Can you believe that? She nudged you with an elbow. Mr. Holden scoffed good-naturedly, then spoke from over her shoulder. You're on vacation. You need to accept that already. She yelled back, amusement obvious on her face and in her tone. People still cook when they're on vacation. Everyone's gotta eat. That's fair. Alright, it's not like I'm some celebrity who can go out for every meal or hire a private chef.
Sorry.
Well, in this house, you're a VIP. My dyslexia is kicking in hardcore today, baby. Alright. Kyra smiled and shook her head quietly. Then she turned to face you once more.
Well,
Sorry about that, Evie. Here, I was trying to strike up a conversation with you, and Cliff just had to butt in. That's what his name is. Clifford, like the fucking dog. Jesus. I don't know why I thought it was Charlie. I was thinking about it. Alright. Mr. Holden says, I don't butt in. She eyed him, chuckling in disbelief. He wasn't exactly disproving the point with that. She leaned over to whisper to you. It's okay. He likes to be included. But since Clifford insisted on cooking all by himself, he'll have to wait. The two of us can chat. Her next question continued to be said in a hushed tone just to be safe.
so?
How are you doing? Good. She didn't seem too convinced by your awkward phrasing, but she nodded anyway. She opened her mouth to say something more, but lightly pounding footsteps caught your attention. You checked to see Cove emerge from the hall a few moments later. He might have heard all the commotion and left his room to see what was going on. He quickly took stock of the situation. Evie, you made it. Thanks for coming. His voice was unnaturally loud, as if he thought you wouldn't be able to hear him from where you were, only a few feet away. Hi, Cove. You doing okay, bud? Yeah, I'm fine. He didn't sound convincing at all. You narrowed your eyes suspiciously, but didn't call him out on it. If you could talk to him alone tonight, maybe you could ask him what was going on then. It was when he glanced away from Cove that he spotted his parents watching the two of you interact. He noticed their stares too, meeting them with narrowed eyes.
So...
Are we having dinner now? Not yet, bud. I'm still cooking. Alright, I'm gonna go back to my room. As he turned to leave, he bent his head to the side to face you. You coming? The question was quiet, but you heard it clearly. He smiled, pleased that he asked, and nodded in the affirmative. Cove turned fully and made his way down the hall. Have fun, you two. We'll call you when the food's ready to go. Okay. With that, you followed after Cove. The two of you made your way down the hall. Yeah, this was the first time that I was invited. You got to the door. Cove got to the door first, opening it and stepping inside. You joined him. I'm so excited to see what his room looks like. He has an aquarium, a map. There's a surfboard. He has a plant. It's very clean, but there's still boxes on top. Why? I don't know. It's cozy though. Much better than my room. There was a mat on the floor in front of the door. As you stepped over the threshold into his room, you felt the crunch of sand beneath your feet. You glanced down. Sand was clustered around the entrance. You even spotted smaller amounts of its dust stain rested on the floor. Though you hadn't anticipated, you weren't surprised at the sight. Of course, Beach Boy Cove Holden would get his room all sandy. So this is my room. Cove was a bit shy as he said so, fidgeting with the hem of his shirt, using one hand and vaguely gesturing into the space with the other. There's stuff you could sit on if you want. He looked over at the desk chair as an option. When you turned back, he was already sitting on the edge of his large bed. I would just sit on the bed too. Are you trying to make your own beach with all the sand?
Not really.
No. But it'd be cool if I could, though. You couldn't help recalling a long time ago, Cove explaining his childhood dream home would be something located right on the shore of a beach. Maybe that idle thought still held an appeal for him. It made you smile to think about. Yeah, I'm gonna sit on the bed, why not? He smiled when you made yourself at home beside him. He grinned back. Oh, my vacuum's done. With the silence growing, your gaze began to drift. You stared at the bright fish swimming in the tank. There were a bunch of them, floating to and fro in the open space. They stood out starkly against the green aquarium plants. How long have you had those fish?
I guess.
My dad bought them for me not very long after I moved here. I guess it's been years now. Yeah, that's a long time. He peered carefully into the tank. The fish looked to be doing well. He must take good care of them. Most of them were small, but there was only one especially big one. What are their names? I don't name them. Well, not really. He lifted an eyebrow at that. He continued the explanation sheepishly.
I mean...
Mostly I just call them things based on what they look like. Squirt for a small one, tangerine for a really orange one, that sort of thing. I've had a lot of fish and I'm not that good at coming up with names. Oh. Yeah, I found that surprising. After all these years, he still had trouble naming his fish? That's not easy to you. He should prepare some ahead of time if he's planning on getting more. Oh, a couple of them have other types of names. He pointed to the small orangish red fish. It was minding its own business away from the others. My dad named her Dreamcatcher, and the other one's Mark. Mom came up with that one. Cove smiled to himself, his eyes reflecting the glow from the tank. You let other people name your fish.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's nice. He then turned to you, tilting his head to the side. There was a considering look on his face. Do I get to name a fish? Oh, I do. Okay. Yeah, I do. His smile grew a little at your enthusiasm. Cool. There's a few who don't have names right now, the newer ones. You could pick which one you want to name. He pointed each of the recent acquisitions out to you. The first was the smallest fish in the tank. It was completely orange and zipped all over the place, running laps around the others. The second was slightly bigger and red. Its tail was dotted with black spots, which almost resembled freckles. The last fish was the biggest one. Its multicolored scales ripped under the bright light of the tank as it slowly made its way across the vast expanse. You went with? Oh, I'm gonna go with the smallest one. Zippy. Cove only nodded at your answer, waiting on you to decide on a suitable name. You watched the fish you chose closely. As you did, a name eventually came to you. Oh my gosh. No. We're... Zippy. No! Not Bubble Zippy. Zipsta. Yeah. Alright, it's Zipsta. With that, his attention moved from you to the tank. He peered finally at it and its inhabitants. You smiled proudly at Zipsta as it swam through the tendrils of the plants, disappearing then reappearing soon after. You know, I'm not allowed to have pets in my house, not even fish. The corner of Cove's lips turned down at that. That doesn't sound fair. It's not like fish would make a mess of your house or anything. You just gotta take them back. You just gotta take care of the tank and feed them and they'll be okay. Oh god, I feel like fish are hard work. You have to change the filter, you have to make sure the tank's clean. Keeping the tank clean is really a lot. And then while you're cleaning the tank, you have to transport them. Done it. Okay. Yeah, I don't mind it too much. You have to do so much for a pet. It's a lot of work and responsibility. My mom's take it super seriously, and that's why they don't want to just get one. Yeah. That's true. Your current conversation brought to mind a memory from years ago. You launched into it without any warning, earning you a brief, confused look from Cove. One time, Elizabeth, came back from playing at the beach and just shut herself in a room. She only came down for food and then she ran back upstairs straight after. It was kind of weird. My mom didn't think much of it at first, though. But then that night, Mom went to her room to say goodnight and started screaming. Mom and I ran over to see what happened, and Lizzie had this huge lizard in her arms. That's a cute thing, though. Holy shit, Elizabeth. Cove's eyebrows rose at that, and he leaned forward in interest. Maybe like a bearded dragon.
Really?
Oh my god, a lizard? Where'd they come from? Elizabeth said she saw it half buried in the sand and didn't know what it was. And then she pulled it out, got the answer, so she brought it home. She ate a lizard in a room for most of the day because she wanted to keep it. Mom and Ma were not happy. They worried about putting it out at night, but she was going to have to let it go in the morning. Lizzie was really upset. She did bring it back to the beach eventually, but she wouldn't talk to anyone for days. When she did get over it, it was like it almost never happened. He laughed, thinking back to that time. Elizabeth had always been so stubborn, but when she was younger, she forgot grudges quickly. Now it wasn't so easy. Cove had been quiet for most of the story apart from the reveal of the lizard. He had a thoughtful look on his face. I can't even imagine what it'd be like to have a sibling. You gave serious thought to a statement before you told him. It's a nice idea in general, but Elizabeth is my sister. There are ups and downs, yeah. It's fun to have her there when she wants me to be there, but now Elizabeth barely feels like hanging out with me. Cove pursed his lips at the words, considering them quietly for a while.
Cool.
That's interesting. I think your family's cool. He didn't have much else to say, though while on the topic of your family, you considered your relationship with your moms too. Yeah, they were the absolute best. Sure, you can even consider having another opinion. You can have better parents. Well, say what you want about them, but at least your mom's never tried to pay someone to be your friend. Oh, burn! Mr. Holden? Alright, the thought prompted you to look over at Cove. He probably still didn't know that happened. You doubt that Mr. Holden mentioned it to him, and you never had. You wondered if you should tell him. It was a long time ago, but you were keeping a secret from Cove. Ah. Yeah, I feel like that's a bad time. You didn't tell him it's a bad time. You could bring it up some other day when the moment was right. Like, Imagine me walking down the wedding aisle and then I get up there and I'm saying his vows. And we get married, you know, we say I do, all that jazz. And then I look at Mr. Plum and I say, okay, I'll take that money now. Like, I stuck it out, I did my job, right? That would be so shitty. Alright, time passed, but you didn't really notice. The two of you were busy making plans for the rest of summer, chatting about your respective days. Eventually, you heard a muffled holler from a different part of the house. You raised your heads in unison. Oh, it's time for dinner. He watched the firmly shut door he had locked behind for the most of the night, but he didn't make a move to get up from the bed. You couldn't see his face, but you didn't know... Oh, so you didn't know what expression he was wearing. I'm glad you came. He peeked back at you from the side. It's been awkward. I get that. It's been hard on you, huh? You felt sympathetic towards him. You didn't know what he was going through, but you cared about him. He said nothing else and remained sat where he was. Now would be as good a time as any to ask him why his parents so sadly wanted you to come over. Is there a reason they wanted me to come over tonight? It hasn't just been awkward for me. Sometimes it gets like this when no one else is around, but now you're here. Huh, you hadn't considered that, but it sort of made sense in a way. There was another shout from outside, too muffled to actually know the words, but you can imagine what they were. Let's go. Cove finally got up, lumbering away with his shoulders sagged. You followed after him. Together, the two of you made your way back to the living room. As you expected, his parents were politely waiting for you at the kitchen table, besides the window overlooking the back of the house. Food had been prepared and set. Mr. Holden beamed as you and Cove took your places. I hope everyone's hungry. I cooked up a feast.
Yeah.
I know I am. Yeah. Cove's mumbled response wasn't nearly as upbeat as theirs. His parents didn't notice, or they pretended not to. They looked very similar, their eyes. Mr. Holden instead looked at you, grinning.
Thanks.
Let's just all take a moment to thank our special guest for being with us here tonight. I'm so glad you were able to make it, Evie, on such short notice, too. Yeah. You thanked them back. I'm happy to be there. Thanks for inviting me.
Alright.
Well, that's it. Everyone please dig in. You can help yourselves to the food. Upon his encouragement, you looked over the meal spread out in front of you. There was a large garden salad in the center, surrounded by a variety of Mexican dishes. Oh, okay. There were lots of sides and optional sauces. You made careful note of the side dishes that had animal products. Thankfully, it didn't seem to be all of them. The other three people were omnivores. Cove's dad might have made some of the dishes especially for you since he was aware of your veganism. Yeah, you could work with this. You didn't mind Mexican food? Mom loved it, so you ate it as a family often. In a way, it made your first dinner at the Holden house feel a bit more normal. Utensils and plates scraped and clinked together as the group began filling their plates. Cliff, could you pass the salsa verde? Of course.
Thanks.
Thank you. Let me just say, you really outdid yourself tonight. I'm so jealous. Jealous of what? Your cooking's nothing to sneeze at, Kyra. Cove's parents made small talk, filling the silence with what seemed to be barely any effort. You chimed in as well. Did it take a long time to cook all this, Mr. Holden? Oh, not at all. Sure, this is more than I usually make for me and Cove, but I enjoyed every second of it.
Aha.
Might have gone faster if you had some help, though. Cove's mom grumbled, but it was lighthearted. Mr. Holden chuckled and shook his head. Not this again. I make the rules here, and I say guests don't cook. Even when they're staying for literal weeks.
Come on.
Even then. Bro. Let a girl cook. Everything looks great, Dad, as always. Thanks, sport. Glad you think so. Cove smiled. It was genuine, even if it was trained at the corners. Brief silences interspersed the small talk. You piled some food onto your plate, waiting for your turn if someone was serving themselves a dish that you had your eye on. Once the food had been divided and things settled down, his parents started talking again. Now then, you sat up in your seat when you noticed they were both looking at you.
How's it going?
How's everything been over at your house? Are your moms well? You've been keeping busy this summer, or maybe you're just trying to take it easy during the break? Oh my god. Yeah, you were surprised, but you didn't mind. You hadn't expected so many questions and all at once. Still, what else was there to talk about aside from how summer was going? You answered how things were at your house. Yeah, it's been good.
Fantastic.
Oh, that's wonderful. You told him how the moms were doing. My moms are great. Mom took us out for dessert a couple weeks ago. Says your project went really well. Is that so? I'll have to congratulate her when I see her. You mentioned things you did for the summer. I'm not sure where to start. There's so much that's happened. Oh, yeah, with the mom thing and the biological parents and the surfing and Jeremy. And then with Lee, with the little play thing. Mr. Holden's brows raised when you answered with that. You sure are keeping yourself busy. I could learn a thing or two from you. And that was it for your question answering. Kyra nodded along. You could tell she was actually listening to the words you were saying. She was trying to include you, not humor you. Did you know, Cliff, that Evie's really into writing? Oh, okay. Mr. Holden's face lit up and he stopped eating so he could lean forward, his arms braced against the table.
Nice
Oh,
work.
that's right. Very cool. It's just a hobby. There's nothing wrong with that. It's good to do things for fun. Everyone needs a hobby. I've been thinking of picking up wood carving myself. You couldn't tell how serious he was being about that declaration. Thanks. Ooh. What? Boys. They're arguing on the treadmill. His parents were definitely the encouraging type, but you could already tell that much about them. There was a lull in the conversation as everyone focused their attention on their respective plates. You noted, not for the first time, that Cove's parents were the ones guiding the conversation. You wondered if you should break the silence this time. My coffeecita. Yeah, I'll bring up my own topic. I also like other things. Would you like to tell us more?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us more. They looked genuinely eager for you to keep talking, so you did. The rest of your dinner continued just like that, with light conversation as you ate your meals. Eventually, all the dishes on the kitchen table were pretty much gone. Oh, hold on. Okay, I'm back, sorry. Alright, Kyra set down her fork and rested her arms at her sides, letting loose a satisfied sigh. Her plate was completely empty.
Thanks.
Ah, that was delish. Thanks for your culinary creations, Cliff. Mr. Holden was like a flower soaking up the rays of sun. He beamed, flattered by the praise. Yeah, you ate until you're satisfied. Why not? It's taken you some time to finish it all, but eventually you cleared your plate. Cove successfully kept his presence to a minimum for the full meal. He was slumped over, even now, toying with the silverware. His parents practically only talked to you. Most attempts to entice him to join the conversation failed. It wasn't typical for him to say so little. He at least tried to participate. You didn't get much time to contemplate Cove's situation, because your attention was taken by Mr. Holden pointedly clearing his voice. Not to sound like a broken record, but thanks for coming, Evie. I'm glad we finally get the chance to have you over for real dinner.
What?
What? Did I get it right? This is the first time that she's ever been here? Why in the world haven't you invited her over sooner? That's what I'm saying. Kyra. I'm on Team Kyra. Alright, Cove was always the one going over to Evie's house until now. I mean, how was I supposed to reject the generous offers of the Peasy family to host my kid? Kyra shook her head, but the amused smile she was sporting told you that she wasn't actually mad. This guy, honestly. The three of you looked at Cove in unison, his small sound being more than enough to get the focus on him after a silence. By now, he'd stopped fiddling with his fork. Would it be alright for Evie to stay over, like, for the night? Oh! Oh! What a gentle dude. He probably doesn't have, like, a lot of people that he invites over like that, huh? He shot you a shy glance and smiling a little. If you're cool with that. Oh. Mr. Holden's shoulders stiffened. He sat up straighter, eyes darting back and forth between you and Cove. His mouth opened, but not a peep came out. You'd never seen Cove's dad say no to him before, but this was different than the usual request. It wasn't so simple, and Mr. Holden was lost. Then Cove's mom reached out and took a hold of his shirt collar. She pulled him closer. She glanced at the two of you before leaning in and bringing up a hand in front of their faces. The two adults whispered seriously to each other. Cove's eyes opened wider. He leaned forward as if that would help him overhear his parents' conversation. Mr. Holden kept gesturing with his hands while Kyra made sure he didn't get too far away with his movements. Every now and then, both of them would watch you and Cove out of the corner of their eyes. It didn't seem like they were fighting to you. They looked more like some tiny sports team having a private huddle. After a bit, they broke the group up. They moved back to sit properly in their chairs. You snuck a look at Cove. He stared at them expectantly. You were eager to hear their verdict too. I really am. We, Kyron and I, think that should be fine. But he lifted a finger dramatically, his brows raising as he met Cove's gaze and then your own. We'll have to talk with Evie's parents to make sure they're comfortable with it. If they are, we could arrange for a sleepover to happen on a different night, when everyone's more prepared. If Evie's folks don't like the idea, there's nothing we could do. He finished the mini speech with a wide shrug, using his full arms. He also checked out Kyra from the corner of his eye and gave her a crooked smile. She nodded approvingly and grinned back. You thought you saw her give a thumbs up, but her hand was partially blocked by the table. They looked so pleased with themselves over the answer, but they just passed an actual decision on whether it was alright or not to someone else, namely your parents. If this was a sports game, they would have punted the ball away. Cove hung his head, deflated. He'd been hoping he could stay over today, not some hypothetical time in the future. Oh, I get it, dude. Oh, I'm not gonna say that in front of the parents. Psst, I'll sneak the phone into my room tonight. If you get your home phone too, then we can still talk even though I'll be back home. His eyes sparkled at the suggestion. It may or may not end up being possible, but it was worth trying. With that, dinner finally came to an end. Mr. Holden stood up from the table and began collecting empty plates. Cove was asked to help out, which he did with little fuss. Kyra tried to lend a hand as well, but Mr. Holden didn't let her. It seemed she was barred from cleaning as well as cooking. You weren't allowed to shipment either, since you were there as a declared guest of honor. Although the meal was over, the night wasn't. It looked like you weren't going home just yet after all. You were asked to wait on the couch. While Cove and his dad were cleaning up the mess, Kyra disappeared from down the hall after shooting you a wink. It was a bit strange sitting by yourself while everyone had something to do. Luckily, you weren't alone for too long. After a couple minutes, his mom returned with a deck of cards. She strolled into the room confidently while shuffling. Oh, damn. You got the shuffle bridge? So who's up for a few rounds? Cove and his dad looked over their shoulders at the question. They were mutually intrigued by the cards in her hands. She beamed at their expressions and stepped further into the living room. Ignoring the couches, she sat cross-legged on the floor by the coffee table. I was about to say crisscross applesauce. I'm 32, guys. I promise. Alright. She turned to you and gestured at the space beside her, smiling invitingly. You accepted and followed her lead. The living room carpet was soft, though the hardwood floor underneath could definitely still be felt. She did an overhand shuffle while she waited for the others to finish their tasks. The smile had yet to leave her lips.
Great.
This is gonna be good. You enjoyed her enthusiasm, I'm sure. Cove's mom was funny, upbeat, and easygoing. You leaned closer to watch her expertly shuffle the cards. It didn't take much longer for Cove and his dad to wrap things enough to call it good. Cove's dad appeared first, followed closely behind by Cove. Mr. Holden rubbed his hands together in anticipation. Alright, I'm ready. As he took a seat across from you on the floor, you noticed that Cove hadn't joined him. He went straight down the hall instead, even without a word. What? You stared on confused as he disappeared through his bedroom door. His parents didn't look concerned at the stunt. Kyra nonchalantly split the decks into two and rifled through the halves together while offering an explanation of sorts. Cove doesn't keep his wallet with him when he's at home. He puts it away. What? Cove quickly returned to the living room, the black wallet in his hand. He took a place at the foot of the table with the rest of you. You blinked as Cove unzipped his wallet. You all use real money on card games with family? Not like Monopoly? Not Monopoly money? While you sat there, your hands idle in your lap, the three shot looks at one another and sized each other up.
Yeah.
That's right. $5 per round per person. Winner takes all. Go big or go home. Oh, are you planning on kicking Evie to the curb, or do you intend on donating to the guest of honor's pot, Mr. High Roller? Mr. Holden narrowed his eyes and leaned back against the side of the couch, completely at ease.
No worries.
If Evie wants to play, I'll fund her way in. Don't you worry about that. He rested an arm across the top of a knee that he propped up. Cove's dad was acting slick in a way you'd never seen before. Oh. You joked that he shouldn't be so confident. Are you sure? Adding me could be spelling your doom. Right you are, Evie. I hope you could back that attitude up. You know I can, Kyra. You can let me pay for Evie. She's my friend. Mr. Holden grilled with a chuckle.
Good. Kid.
Alright, bud. I concede. You're too polite for me. Well, you've got your ticket. Interested in throwing in? He glanced around. This seemed like serious business. In response to your consternation, Kyra softened her competitive smile. Don't worry too much. We'll probably just do some rounds of Go Fish tonight. No biggie.
Do you mind?
What do you think? Yeah, sure. I'd love to play. Mr. Holden gave you a big thumbs up while Cove nodded firmly back. You were decent. Sure. Sometimes you won, sometimes you lost. I like to think you weren't bad at it, though. Fantastic. We'll play for however long everyone wants to keep going. Or until people start running out of cash, but are still refusing to quit when they're behind. Speak for yourself, I see. With a laugh, Kyra nudged you using an elbow and then motions towards the other two with her chin. Don't be fooled by their soft faces. These boys are sharks. In reaction to her words, Mr. Holden smirked and Cove's eyebrows became more angled. Kyra's phrasing made you think back to when you were young, specifically of Mr. Holden's favorite shark pants that he used to wear all the time. Perhaps they had been a fit for him in ways you didn't know of. You could feel tension in the air. Cove and his parents, their eyes glued to one another. Then all placed $5 bills with an empty space in front of them. Cove dropped an extra one for you, giving you a tiny smile after he did. What a good June. A good gent. Thanks so much, Cove. Once this was done, Kyra began dealing out cards to everybody. It was time to begin. The first round came and went quickly, with the group getting into the groove of things. You won right away, which meant you had money to keep playing the second round. You're natural. Nicely done. Better keep those wits about you for the next round, though. As the night went on, so did the games. Mr. Holden would jokingly shake his fist whenever someone other than him got a pair. Kyra acted as a news anchor, reporting on every move everyone made by speaking into her curled fist. Cove was still a few words, but it was because he was focused on the game instead of being overcome with awkwardness. Most of the time, he even sat at a smile on his lips. You didn't win many of the games, but the others always chipped in for you. In fact, there was always a bit of a fight over who got to be your backer. It became clear that where the money went in the moment didn't really matter. They ended up giving it back to one another in other ways, and not just through more rounds of cards. You sat back, looking over the scene. A tiny smile grew on your face. His family was pretty cool, you thought. You were glad that you got this chance to come over to spend time with the three of them. Did I have a phone call, though? Well, so the next time that I play this, we'll do Growing and Road Trip. That was a lot. Alright, cool. So, I hope you enjoyed this. I will go ahead, I will save in a new empty slot. But if you liked it, leave a like, subscribe, tell your friends, watch my other videos, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, bye!